Hey everybody out there in internet land, this is Pat from Imperial Wheeling Machines in Hastings, Nebraska. Thought I'd do mornings with the metal shaper today. I've got to set up a little test part and check and see how close I am on my setup for a part I need to make here in the immediate future. And thought I'd bring you guys along for kind of an interesting technique. So, well, I don't even know if it's an interesting technique or a stupid human trick, one of the two. But say you need to make a hood side, and hood sides suck for a 30s era hot rod because they're really flat and everything has to be dialed in perfect. You know, the eye craves symmetry and flow. Any little thing that's off on a panel that's real flat, there's just nowhere to hide. It's got to be perfect. So me working by myself most of the time on the bead roller or the pullmax, which I have both over there, it's hard to run something like that through by yourself. In the bead roller, it's hard to focus that long and not get any tank slapper in there, you know. In the pullmax, it's hard to control a big panel and keep it from flapping and keep it dead flat. So years ago, some of you guys know I came out of the race car world. Years ago, you used to see all sorts of goofy stuff done on a sheet metal brake in race shops because, you know, race shops are crammed full of fixtures and other people's race cars in various stages of disrepair or building. So there's a lot of neat stuff done on a sheet metal brake. And today, I'm going to make a bead with a sheet metal brake and thought I'd bring you guys along. So what I've got here is a 9/16 piece of round stock, a hunk of heavy that it's 1/2 inch, but I don't think we'll put a clamp mark in it when we throw this together, because I need to end up about 5/8 of an inch-ish of bead. So I've got a piece of 9/16 rod stock plus material thickness. I should be right in there. Now, you guys that have been here to the shop for classes or flock to the shop or any other thing know that I have machining equipment. I can make any pullmax die that I need. I've got 3D printers. I can print any pullmax die that I need. Well, again, the issue is controlling a big, flat, floppy panel. So what we're going to do is we're going to use the closing pressure of the brake to basically wipe the sheet metal around the die. So all I do for my setup, I've got a hunk of heavy here on the deck. Well, again, this is 1/2 inch, this is 9/16. I don't think we'll have an issue. But I just stick the material in there and shove this up against the fingers. That's my setup. So when I've got the big panel to do, I will very carefully just put some shims in there and double-sided tape this to the apron so it's not going to move until I clamp everything. So we've got a material thickness in there to allow it to come around. So I'll open up the brake, insert the part, and something you care about or you're making, you'd have your layout lines and you'd line up with your apron, or line up with the tip of your fingers, excuse me. So you can see on this brake I don't have all the fingers for it, so I made a shoe. Now what I'm concerned with on this test part is the bottom of the bead. Is it going to be sharp enough? Because this shoe has a big broad radius on it. I've got a fabricated piece that I made that's pretty sharp, but if I don't have to change this, I'm not gonna. So that's why I'm doing a test part. The part I need to make is kind of medium soft, so we'll see what we have. So another hunk of heavy on top, just to keep it from slipping and sliding and hold it flat. Because a bead this way, or any bead in a bead roller, is an uncontrolled draw. So I want it to draw from that way. So on the real part, I'll just leave a little extra over there. So when I've done the bead, I can just remark and trim. I'm not going to do the math and try to figure out the draw when I can just fudge a little extra on. You got to remember, guys, the material is the cheapest thing in the shop. So with that clamped up, I've got a couple other examples. So there's just a pretty deep offset with soft edges, done the same way. Just hunk of heavy piece of material that is what you want that radius to be. Use the closing pressure to smush it there. So maybe in a different video, I'll show you, that was a setup for a hood side. Needed a pretty deep offset that's a little sharper on the bottom than the top, and then needed a 180 over. Done on the sheet metal brake. Because again, me primarily working by myself on the pullmax, bead roller, Urco flanger, anything like that. Because you know, you could turn this up with a radius on the Urco flanger and then put a piece of metal in there and basically hammer form it over. But again, the variable is us. Here, the variable is your setup. And if your setup's right, it's insert part, add, squish them. So here's another entertaining thing done on the sheet metal brake. I wish the little bobber hot rod pickups had come back in style. Making box sides with a round top on it. This is done in the sheet metal brake. And no, it is not bump bent. There are no facets in this. It's bent with a bending bar or radius bar, whichever nomenclature you prefer. And it's a glorified bend sequence. Like I said, not even necessarily a interesting technique or file it under the category of stupid human trick. So a little less yammer, a little more action. So we're clamped up, we're set up, and this brake is nice because you can operate the total squeeze from one side. So okay, we're up and we're clamped. So I'll lean you in here so you can see what's going on. We just wiped the material around the stock. So we'll open him up and see how we're doing there. We'll unclamp him. Yeah, that looks pretty good. I think that'll work for what I need. Because I need to be kind of a medium soft down in the bottom there. And that's a little softer than the top. I'll have to compare it to the sample I've got. But, you know, say you need to make this into a full-blown bead. And I'm not going to screw up my test part by making this bead for you guys, so I'll go ahead and do that. So to make a bead, again, I'll just stick the material in there and scooch the bar up to it. And I'll just use, since I don't have any double-sided tape at the moment, I'll just use that to set my material thickness there, so I've got clearance. Now I'll open up the brake and insert the part carefully. Now these two pieces are holding it. I'll stick this on here so I've got something to clamp. Keep the part from attempting to rotate. Bear with me guys here, and a little fiddly to set up, but for a test part I'm not gonna go to maximum effort. I just need to see where the bottom of that, what amount of sharp it is with this shoe on here. So we're clamped up, we're ready to go. Insert part, add squishing. And we're using just plain 18 gauge cold rolled here, guys. It's not anything exotic, not draw quality, nothing like that. Yeah, so you can see, let me step around so I can see what I'm doing. So you can see we've got a nice straight bead and the panel is dead flat. So making a hood side or just a panel that's a little too big for you to manage by yourself, if you've got a sheet metal brake, pretty handy way to do that. So that's kind of it guys, short and sweet, but a quick reminder, today is June 19th, 2025, and our hot rod body construction class has one opening, and that is next weekend, June 27th, 28th, 29th, and 30th. So if you're so inclined that one spot's open, it could be yours. Visit wheelingmachines.com and sign up, or you have any questions, call me at the shop. But this is the kind of stuff that we do in the classes that's not exactly common, because I know most of you guys work by yourself on your project, and something simple like this, get your keister out of the campfire, you know, needing to make a hood side or put a detail on a running board that you're making. But I think we'll stick a fork in it for the day, guys. Hope to see you at a class sometime, or flock to the shop, or out and about, car show or metal shaping event. Remember to like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. So we'll catch you next time.